I remember that night vividly, the moment when an ordinary day transformed into an unexpected plunge into the unknown. I was alone in my small, dimly lit apartment, sifting through endless emails after a long day at work. As I scrolled, I noticed something peculiar among the routine messages, a booking alert that I hadn't scheduled. The subject line read, "Booking confirmation, Le Royal Majestic, 2 nights." My heart skipped a beat. I stared at the screen, trying to comprehend how this alert had found its way into my inbox. The email detailed a lavish hotel stay at a renowned property known for its opulence and discreet clientele. Every word, luxurious suite, exclusive amenities, clandestine dinner reservation, spoke of indulgence far removed from my usual existence. I rubbed my eyes in disbelief. I wasn't one to plan extravagant getaways. My life was an unremarkable routine of spreadsheets and quiet evenings spent with a dog-eared novel. Yet there it was, a misplaced booking alert that seemed to detail secret plans not meant for my eyes. For several long minutes, I debated whether to ignore the message or dive into the mystery. Something deep within me, a longing for spontaneity and passion that I had long suppressed, urged me to follow this breadcrumb. I finally clicked on the confirmation details and read every word carefully. The email mentioned a clandestine dinner scheduled for tomorrow night at 11 p.m., a steamy, private affair that promised both indulgence and secrecy. My pulse quickened as I pondered the implications. Who could have sent it? Was it a mistake, or was fate finally offering me an escape from the monotony of my everyday life? That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, my mind swirling with questions. The misplaced alert was like a spark in the darkness, igniting forgotten desires and daring me to step into a world I'd once only dreamed about. I decided then that I would not let fear rule me. I would follow the trail, even if it led me far from everything I knew. Morning came slowly as I awoke with a restless energy pulsing through me. The booking alert burned in my mind like an unspoken promise. Over a cup of bitter coffee in my cramped kitchen, I began to retrace the details of the email. The luxurious hotel, Le Royal Majestic, was a name I had heard only in passing, a hidden gem for those seeking refuge from the everyday. I googled the hotel, marveling at its sumptuous photos and glowing reviews that spoke of discreet encounters and unforgettable nights. I wondered about the clandestine dinner reservation, described in almost poetic terms, an intimate culinary experience reserved for those who dared to live authentically. It felt as though someone had orchestrated a secret escape plan tailored precisely for me. I recalled my younger self, rebellious, unburdened, a free spirit who danced under moonlit skies without fear of judgment. Somewhere along the way, I had allowed the demands of adulthood to suppress that wild part of me. Before making any decisions, I hesitated to confide in anyone. The idea of pursuing this mysterious invitation was both thrilling and terrifying. I decided to explore it on my own terms, savoring the possibility of rekindling the fire I once knew. That afternoon, I penned a letter to myself, a promise of courage and the resolve to step beyond my self-imposed limitations. I scribbled down, "Embrace the unknown. Tonight, find your freedom," as if the words could magically unlock the door to a life uncharted. I saved the email and reread its contents several times. Every detail, the date, the time, the reservation code, felt deliberate, like clues in an elaborate treasure hunt. I could almost sense the hand that had sent it, guiding me towards something extraordinary. With my heart pounding, I decided I would accept the invitation. That evening, I would prepare for a lavish hotel stay and a clandestine, steamy dinner that promised to awaken a side of me I had long hidden. The hours leading up to my departure were filled with an exhilarating mix of anxiety and anticipation. I rummaged through my closet, searching for an outfit that would express both confidence and vulnerability. I selected a sleek, black dress with subtle hints of red embroidered along the neckline, a dress I had almost forgotten I owned, but which now resonated with an unspoken promise of passion and mystery. In the bathroom mirror, I took extra care with my makeup, accentuating my eyes with smoky hues and applying a bold red lipstick that mirrored the hidden desires in my heart. Every brushstroke felt like a declaration, an affirmation that I was ready to shed the layers of everyday routine and embrace the extraordinary. I packed a small bag with essentials, a notebook for recording my thoughts, a favorite perfume that smelled of distant memories, and a camera, hoping to capture fleeting moments of this transformative night. Before stepping out, I glanced at my phone one last time. The misplaced booking alert still glowed, its details clear and unyielding. I hesitated briefly, taking a deep breath, and then confirmed my reservation online. The moment I clicked confirm, I felt as if a door had opened, a door to possibilities I had long kept locked away. I hailed a taxi and watched as the city's neon lights blurred past the window, each flash of color a reminder that life was unpredictable and filled with hidden beauty. In the back of the cab, my thoughts oscillated between hope and doubt. What if this was just a mistake, a glitch in a system that had somehow targeted me? Or what if it was the universe's way of urging me to break free from the shackles of monotony? I resolved that, come what may, I would embrace the night with an open heart. The taxi ride felt like a journey into the unknown, each turn and stop a step toward a future I had never dared to imagine. The taxi pulled up outside Le Royal Majestic, a hotel that looked more like a palace than a mere lodging. Its grand facade was a blend of modern glass and classic stone, accented with lush greenery that seemed to whisper of secrets and timeless elegance. I stepped out into the cool night air, my heart fluttering as I approached the revolving door. Inside, the lobby was a marvel of understated luxury. Marble floors reflected the gentle light of crystal chandeliers, and the soft murmur of classical music filled the air. A discreet receptionist greeted me with a knowing smile as I provided my name and reservation details. "Welcome, Miss Taylor," she said in a voice that was both warm and enigmatic. I realized, for a fleeting moment, that I had forgotten my surname, a relic of a life that I now felt was slipping away. In that instance, I resolved that tonight, I was not defined by my past. I was simply a seeker of beauty and mystery. I was escorted to an elevator that glided silently upward. With each passing floor, my excitement grew until finally, I arrived at the penthouse suite. The door opened to reveal a spacious room bathed in soft, ambient light. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcased the glittering skyline of the city below, while plush furnishings and rich fabrics exuded an air of timeless decadence. I stepped inside, absorbing every detail, the gentle hum of the air conditioner, the subtle scent of fresh linen mixed with a hint of jasmine, and the sight of a small table set with a bottle of fine wine and 2 glasses. I sank into a deep, inviting sofa and allowed myself to marvel at the scene before me. This was not just a hotel room, it was a sanctuary from the relentless pressures of the outside world, a place where I could be reborn, if only for a night. Before long, my phone buzzed with yet another message, a short, unadorned text that read, "Dinner at Le Nocturne. 12:30 a.m. My pulse quickened. Le Nocturne was a posh bistro on the top floor of the hotel known for its sultry ambience and decadent fare. It was the clandestine dinner mentioned in the misplaced booking alert, a steamy, intimate encounter that promised to be as unforgettable as it was forbidden. I reread the text several times, trying to grasp its full significance. There was no name attached, no further details, only the stark invitation and the allure of an unknown rendezvous. I sensed that this was a carefully orchestrated plan, designed not only to transport me from the ordinary to the extraordinary but also to challenge everything I had ever known about intimacy and risk. I spent the next hour preparing for the dinner. I changed into a second outfit, a daring, form-fitting ensemble in midnight blue that contrasted beautifully with the elegance of the hotel. I applied my makeup with renewed precision, enhancing my features in a way that was both alluring and enigmatic. I glanced at my reflection in the mirror and smiled faintly, marveling at the transformation of a woman who had once been timid and predictable into someone ready to embrace the wild pulse of passion. At exactly 12:30 a.m., I made my way to Le Nocturne. The elevator ride was quiet, filled with an anticipatory hush that seemed to carry the weight of every secret desire. When the elevator doors opened onto the top floor, I was greeted by a corridor lined with softly lit tables, each adorned with a single candle and a subtle flourish of flowers. The air was thick with a heady mix of perfume, fine wine, and an indefinable excitement that prickled on my skin. I found my table, a secluded corner with a panoramic view of the city's sleeping lights. I sat down and waited, my eyes scanning the room for any sign of my mysterious dinner companion. The bistro was nearly empty, with only a few other guests lost in hushed conversation. Every moment felt charged, as if the night itself were holding its breath in anticipation of what was to come. Just as I began to wonder if the invitation was a cruel joke, the door to my section opened quietly, and a man stepped inside. He was tall, with an athletic build and dark eyes that glinted with mischief and promise. His attire was impeccable, a tailored suit that clung to him in all the right places, exuding an air of refined mystery. For a moment, time seemed to slow as our eyes met. In his gaze, I saw a spark of recognition, as if he, too, had been longing for this moment. He approached my table with measured steps, a slight smile playing on his lips. "Good evening," he said in a low, velvety tone that sent a shiver down my spine. "I believe you received the invitation." I nodded, too breathless to speak immediately. There was an undeniable magnetism in his presence, a raw energy that promised to unravel the constraints of everyday life. He introduced himself as Adrian, a name that seemed both familiar and tantalizingly mysterious. Without further explanation, he slid into the seat opposite me, his eyes never leaving mine. The initial awkwardness dissolved as we exchanged small talk about the weather, the ambience of the bistro, and our shared delight in being somewhere out of the ordinary. Every word was imbued with an undercurrent of anticipation, as though we were both acutely aware that this dinner was far more than a casual meeting. It was an invitation to shed our inhibitions and embrace the night. The dinner course began with an appetizer that was as provocative as it was artfully prepared, a delicate tartare garnished with edible flowers and drizzled with a tangy reduction that set my taste buds alight. With each subsequent course, the flavors grew bolder, richer, and more intoxicating, much like the conversation that unfolded between us. Adrian's voice was soft yet compelling as he recounted fragments of his life, a tale of unexpected escapes, long-forgotten passions, and the allure of hidden rendezvous. I found myself leaning in closer, hanging on to every whispered detail. As the meal progressed, the conversation turned steamy. We spoke not only of our past regrets but also of our secret fantasies, of stolen moments in luxurious hotel suites, of midnight escapes from a world that demanded conformity, of the thrill of meeting someone who saw through the facades we wore by day. Every shared glance, every brush of our fingers against the table, was a silent promise that we were rewriting our stories together. Before we knew it, the candle at our table burned low, and the restaurant's ambient music shifted to a slower, more sultry tune. The atmosphere seemed to pulse with our unspoken desires, and I realized that we had moved from polite conversation into a realm of raw, palpable intimacy. In that dim light, every gesture carried meaning, every smile, every laugh was a step deeper into a secret dance of passion. After the meal, we left Le Nocturne and strolled through the quiet streets, the city's neon lights casting a dreamlike glow around us. Adrian walked close beside me, his presence a steady anchor in the whirlwind of emotions that had overtaken me. We found ourselves at a secluded park, where a small fountain gurgled softly and shadows danced on the pavement. The night air was cool and invigorating, and the conversation between us shifted to softer, more vulnerable topics. The dreams we had shelved, the moments of loneliness, the desperate longing for authenticity. I recalled the email alert that had started it all, a misplaced booking that detailed secret plans for a lavish hotel stay and a clandestine, steamy dinner. In that moment, I marveled at how chance could unravel the threads of an existence I had once thought unchangeable. Adrian, with his gentle sincerity and mischievous smile, had become not just a fleeting encounter but a symbol of the possibility that life could always surprise us. We sat on a weathered bench beneath a canopy of trees, and the conversation gradually lulled into a comfortable silence. I leaned my head on his shoulder, feeling the steady beat of his heart synchronize with my own. For the first time in years, I felt seen, not just as a cog in the relentless machine of everyday life, but as a woman with secrets, passions, and the right to escape. In that quiet moment, I vowed to remember this night for as long as I lived. Every encrypted alert, every odd receipt that had brought me here was a reminder that our lives, no matter how carefully scripted, were capable of astonishing rewrites. I knew that, come morning, the clarity of daylight might obscure the magic of this night, but the memories would endure like a secret song within my heart. Morning arrived reluctantly, its soft light creeping in through the leaves of an ancient oak in the park. I awoke in a state of hazy wonder, unsure whether I had dreamt the entire encounter or if it had been as tangible as the dewy grass beneath me. Adrian was still by my side, a silent guardian in the gentle embrace of dawn. As the early light painted the sky in shades of lavender and gold, we spoke of the future. There was no grand promise of eternal love, only an understanding that we had both been touched by something rare and beautiful. We parted ways at a busy intersection, a bittersweet farewell filled with the promise of a meeting someday, somewhere. I returned to my apartment carrying not only the memory of an unforgettable night but also a renewed sense of possibility. That misplaced booking alert, which had seemed like a clerical error at first, had catalyzed a journey of self-discovery and passion. I began to record every detail in a journal, my secret rendezvous, the sumptuous flavors of a midnight meal, and the tender moments shared with a man whose name I had learned only as Adrian. Each entry was a testament to my reclaiming a long-lost self, a self that dared to dream, to love, and to defy the confines of routine. I realized that life's most enchanting chapters are often born from the most unanticipated of errors, a misplaced alert, an odd receipt, a cryptic message that invites us to step beyond the borders of the known. Days turned into weeks, and while the memory of that steamy midnight encounter softened into a delicate ache, I found that the experience had changed me fundamentally. I began to see the world with new eyes, the ordinary sparkled with hidden possibilities, and every unexpected email or stray receipt carried the potential for a secret adventure. I became bolder. I explored the city's underbelly, the hidden corners of museums after hours, quiet bars where old jazz records spun tales of lost romances, and rooftop gardens where the stars were close enough to touch. I would sometimes receive notifications, small, almost imperceptible signals, that reminded me of the night when everything had shifted. Each message, each odd receipt, was a reminder that the universe was conspiring to show me that life was far more than a string of predictable days. I started to share my experiences with a few trusted friends, though I carefully omitted details too wild to believe. Their responses were a mixture of skepticism and awe. Some even envied the courage I had mustered to step into a world of clandestine encounters. I learned that vulnerability could be a strength, one that allowed me to connect with others on a deeply emotional level, forging bonds over shared dreams of a life unconfined by convention. My journal filled with sketches, heartfelt reflections, and even snippets of poems, hasty attempts to capture the raw, unscripted beauty of that night. I began to realize that the misplaced booking alert had done more than lead me to a lavish hotel and a steamy dinner. It had unlocked a door to a self I had long repressed, a self that yearned for beauty, risk, and unabashed passion. Yet, as with all secret adventures, there was a price to be paid. The more I embraced this new, daring life, the more I found that it came with its own set of consequences. There were days when I battled the guilt of straying from a safe, predictable path, and nights when anxiety clawed at my mind over the uncertainty of what the future might bring. The world outside my private escapades remained unyielding, a reminder that while passion could set me free, reality was ever present, demanding responsibility and caution. I began to notice subtle changes in my routine. Colleagues asked questions about my sudden change in demeanor. Some wondered if I was involved in something risky, while others simply marveled at the glow of newfound confidence. In quiet moments, I questioned whether my clandestine encounters would eventually lead to heartbreak or loss. Every misplaced alert, every steamy midnight dinner, carried the risk of exposure, of having my secret life unravel in the harsh light of day. One rainy evening, as I walked home beneath a tangle of city lights and reflective puddles, I felt the weight of those uncertainties pressing upon me. I paused on a deserted corner, the drizzle mingling with the tears I refused to let fall. It was then that I understood that passion was both a gift and a burden, a fire that could warm the soul but also consume it if left unchecked. I resolved that I would cherish every stolen moment while remaining mindful of the delicate balance between risk and responsibility. Months later, I found myself at a crossroads, torn between the thrill of secret meetings and the inevitable pull of a life grounded in routine. The misplaced booking alert, now a cherished memory archived in my journal, had irrevocably altered my perception of what it meant to live fully. Yet, I could not ignore the lingering questions about the sustainability of a life built on nocturnal escapades and hidden pleasures. One evening, while reviewing my entries by the glow of a single desk lamp, I felt an overwhelming loneliness. The passionate nights, though intoxicating, had left me with a haunting solitude. I wondered if the elusive moments of intimacy could ever be sustained in a world that demanded transparency and permanence. In that moment of quiet introspection, I made a vow, to seek a balance, to honor the passion without losing sight of the need for genuine connection and stability. I began to reach out to old friends and even to a therapist, sharing my inner conflicts and the wild, beautiful chaos that had defined the past few months. Through these conversations, I came to understand that my journey was not merely about escape but about integration, of blending the vibrant, secret self with the public persona that I had long maintained. I started to envision a future where I could be both daring and responsible, a life where every steamy midnight encounter was balanced by moments of soulful reflection and honest dialogue. As the seasons changed, so too did I. I gradually found a rhythm, a way to honor the wild, impulsive parts of my heart while also embracing the steady beat of everyday life. I continued to receive the occasional misplaced booking alert or mysterious receipt, but now they served as gentle reminders rather than urgent summons. They were like echoes from a past that had taught me how to love boldly, even if only for a night. I returned to Le Royal Majestic, not as a desperate escape but as a celebration of my journey. I booked a room and invited a dear friend to join me for a quiet dinner at Le Nocturne. Together, we reminisced about the passion and unpredictability of that long-ago night, marveling at how a single alert had set off a chain of events that had reshaped my world. We talked about the lessons of risk, the beauty of imperfection, and the power of reclaiming one's destiny. Every detail of that night, the luxurious hotel, the clandestine, steamy dinner, the whispered promises, remained a cherished part of my story. But I no longer lived solely in its shadow. I had learned to integrate the lessons of my secret escapades into a life that was both vibrant and grounded. I began to explore creative pursuits, painting, writing, even performing at local open mic nights, channeling the raw emotions that had once erupted in the heat of clandestine meetings into art that touched others. I realized that my journey was an ever-unfolding story, a narrative of passion, pain, and the relentless pursuit of authenticity. The misplaced booking alert had been the spark, but it was the journey that followed that had taught me the true meaning of living freely and fully. I learned that sometimes, the most transformative chapters of our lives begin with what seems like a mistake, a misdirected email or a stray receipt, that opens a door to possibility. Now, as I sit in a sunlit corner of a bustling cafe, sipping a warm latte and watching the world go by, I reflect on the extraordinary journey that began with that one misplaced booking alert. My days are filled with a harmonious blend of work, creativity, and moments of quiet introspection. I have learned to balance the fire of passion with the gentle cadence of everyday life, cherishing both the memories of secret, steamy nights and the warmth of genuine connections. The encrypted messages, the odd receipts, and the lavish hotel stays remain treasured symbols of a time when I dared to step beyond the ordinary. They remind me that life is not a series of carefully planned events but a tapestry woven from unexpected encounters, whispered secrets, and the courage to embrace uncertainty. I have come to understand that the most captivating chapters of our lives are often the ones we never planned, those that catch us by surprise and lead us to rediscover parts of ourselves we thought were lost. I still keep my journal, its pages filled with fragments of memories, of lavish dinners under starlight, clandestine meetings in opulent settings, and the raw vulnerability of a heart laid bare. Each entry is a testament to the transformative power of taking a risk, of following a misplaced alert into a world of possibility. And while I may no longer receive such mysterious messages on a nightly basis, the spirit of that adventure lives on in every decision I make and every moment I choose to live with passion. As I raise my coffee cup in a silent toast to the past and the promise of the future, I know that my life is unbound, free to evolve, to love, and to seek beauty in every corner of the mundane. The misplaced booking alert was not just a clerical error, it was the beginning of a revolution within my soul. It taught me that sometimes, the most profound escapes come in the form of unexpected invitations, and that a single, steamy, clandestine dinner can change everything. In the end, my journey is a celebration of living unreservedly, of embracing the chaos and the wonder, the pain and the joy, that define our existence. And so, with a heart forever open to the magic of the unknown, I continue forward, ready for the next chapter, knowing that every secret plan and every hidden rendezvous is a step toward becoming the person I was always meant to be.